Good evening and welcome to the Power of Now. I'm Coach Mitchell.
And I'm Coach Darren.
We're so glad to be back before you this evening. We have such what we think are some exciting recipes and just going over a little bit of the process to help you along your health and wellness journey. Coach?
Yes, tonight, as Coach Mitchell said, we're back live, and we just want to kind of share with you some of the things that we are going to do going forward, and kind of, in some cases, tell you new and then reiterate others. As you can see in front of you, we have a bunch of healthy stuff, but we really want to talk about what our whole mission is with Inside Outside Wellness Wednesday. I know, Coach, you introduced it as Power of Now, which is actually on Tuesday. Tonight is Inside Outside on Wellness Wednesday, where we talk all things health.
Yes. Under the umbrella of the Power of Now.
Yes.
Okay, so all right, so we're just going to jump right into it. I know some of you saw the really healthy juice recipe that I posted yesterday. We have, I think it was yesterday or Monday. Nevertheless, we have really started to take our health journey seriously. We're upping at another level, and every morning we're very intentional about what we put into our bodies first.
Yes.
And juicing is one of the purest forms of getting your vegetables, your vitamins and your nutrients straight from your vegetables and your fruit. So yesterday I posted a really delicious watermelon-based drink. Today I have a green drink. It's a green juice, and it has about 6 different vegetables and fruit, and it is absolutely delicious. Again, these are juices and healthy drinks that you want to really start to consider putting into the rotation of your diet or your eating,
Yes.
your daily eating. And Darren, if you could just give a rundown of these ingredients, because I forgot a couple of them.
Okay.
But
well, just one thing, we don't really want to go into the particulars of the session. We really want to talk about you getting in position to be able to take this journey with us.
Yes.
So it's not so much important that in that particular juice, and we're going to say juice, it's not a smoothie. It's a juice. You had watermelon, you had spinach, cucumber, celery, ginger, watermelon, fresh ginger watermelon powder, all right, which we created, and then key lime, yes,
key lime juice.
Yes. But as Coach Mitchell, as you said, the first thing in the morning, all right, what you put into your system upon waking is really important, because when you're sleeping, your body's detoxing, which is why when you get up in the morning, usually the first thing you need to do is, use the bathroom, right? Because your body's now removing those toxins out of your body. So your cells are wide open. It pretty much said that's the point in which your cells are the widest open, ready to be replenished. So the first thing you put into your system that you consume could have the biggest impact. So instead of grabbing coffee, you may want to grab water followed by juice.
Right, and it makes a difference. I mean, I felt the difference over the last, I guess we've been doing this really intentionally on a consistent basis, actually daily basis, for the last couple of weeks.
Yes.
And I have really felt my energy levels increase, and also my digestive health is a lot better.
Good.
So,
but again, what we want to do when we come to you on Wednesday nights is, like I said, we will share more recipes for smoothies, juices, and different foods. And as you alluded to just now, we also want to show you how to make things homemade recipes that really can allow you to capture the flavors. The other thing we want to do is we want to show you how to start growing your own produce.
Yeah. Coach, you mentioned making your own products. Um, some of the ingredients that we use are things that you have right in your pantry or in sitting on the counter in your produce basket or even in your fridge. I have in front of me a couple of things that have been either pickled or fermented that we made just using the produce from either the farmer's market, the refrigerator,
And garden.
and the garden. Here are preserved lemons, no sugar added. It's preserved in salt and the actual lemon juice, just the natural lemon. And when I tell you this is an amazing, amazing ingredient, it's generally found and used most commonly in the Mediterranean diet, but this is, or in Mediterranean cooking, let me put it that way. This is so good on different, if you eat meats, roast chicken in your salads. Once it sits out for a couple of weeks, it starts to get like a nice thick syrupy consistency, but it's a very salty brine. And you can even eat the pickle, the preserved lemon. Just rinse it off because it is salty, because it's brined in salt. It's just salt and the lemon, and it produces its own liquid. So that's just with a couple of lemons that, we had extra. We didn't want them to go to waste. I looked up a quick recipe. This was the quick recipe, threw it in a jar, set it on the counter. It was all of a 10-minute process.
Awesome.
Okay.
Now, just mentioned she did not want it to go to waste, which kind of is a segue into one of the other things we want to, encourage you to do it, and that's really practice a zero waste strategy. You really want to reduce the amount of waste in your household. And does it have to be 100%? No, we're not 100%. We keep improving as we find ways to reuse or repurpose, things to the point where we almost look to repurpose something, whether it's, again, food or if it's just something else that we need.
And we're not looking for perfection. We're just looking to do better, to be better, to feel healthier. Because as you get older, your body begins to break down. We don't want our bodies to break down prematurely. And for the parts that have broken down, we want to build them back up. So we're just looking for ways to make our lives a lot less, I would say, burdensome in the future, because I really don't want anyone having to take care of me. I want to live a long, healthy life, and these are some of the things that we can do to try to contribute to that.
Right. Now, on this journey, I say people, you want to become health conscious, but guess what? You only truly, truly become health conscious when not only are you concerned about your own health, you're concerned about the health of others, you're concerned about the health of the environment.
Yeah.
Because it's all, then you are health conscious. Just because you go to the gym or you eat healthy, you think you're health conscious. If you're not concerned about the health of everything else going around you, you're not health conscious because you're still in the ego state. So what we want to encourage you to do is you think beyond yourself. So you think about the health of yourself, those close to you, those, again, around you, your family. You start to encourage everyone, and you want to become conscious about the health of the environment because it's connected. We're connected.
That's right.
Which is why we also encourage people to start gardening.
Exactly. And to pass it on. Teach your kids. Get their, get them out from in front of the plasmas, the screens, and get their hands in the soil. Let them feel, let them see, let them help grow and see where the source of their food comes from. And trust me, you've taught them a skill for life.
For life.
And they love it. I first grew in school. Now, my parents planted gardens every year, but I first grew my own from remembrance bean. I took a bean to school, and I think I was in the first or second grade, and planted the bean, and the teacher set it on the windowsill, and we all the students saw the beans begin to sprout and grow, and we were just fascinated that we did that. We did that. So kids will take that with them throughout their lifetime.
Yes. Again, nice setup. All right. For the other thing we encourage you to do, it's talking about teaching children. Also, it's about learning yourself.
Mhm.
Now, great projects for children, but also as you're getting older, gardening is something that can keep your you engaged mentally because there's so much to learn. It can help you physically because you're constantly moving, mm, and it can help you spiritually because you are reconnecting, you know, to what they say, all that is.
Mhm.
So here, you could say this is a project. This was an experiment. I had two milk cartons, and I don't know if they can see that, but you know, it's a milk
Yep.
carton.
I'll just hold it right there.
All right. And if you see all these sprouts coming up, they're plants. All of those are potato plants from these were the little white golden,
Spuds.
no, the little white potatoes, and they were organic. And again, the potatoes were just stuck in a milk carton. Because you use any milk carton, it just has to be oat milk. Use whatever you have, cut it open, put the potato pieces in there, throw some dirt on it, and now there are potato plants growing here. Now, naturally, you'd have to transfer them to a larger container in order for the plant to go to maturity.
Right.
But you see, this is a project where you, if you're new to gardening, or your children can do.
You're just getting started.
Yep.
Right. That's what you want to do. Get started.
Yes, get started.
Yeah.
And let nature lead you. Here again, another milk carton. This is a sweet potato, which grows differently. And this would be some of the lessons that you can teach your children, the difference between how a sweet potato grows versus a white potato. But you also see there is a sprout coming up. There's another one. And I think when children first see this, because I know as an adult, the first time I started gardening, you saw it, it was like, whoa, look at that. And I didn't really do anything. Go ahead, you want to say something?
No, I was just going to say the difference is the potato will grow a plant. It'll grow straight up, the Irish potato or the white potato. The sweet potato is a vine. Even though the potato is a root, the potato leaf or vegetation is actually a vine. So it will run and it will spread. Whereas the other potato, the white potato here, will grow straight up and just be leafy.
Yeah.
So
What you end up having is, in both cases, your potatoes will grow
underground, right? Because they are root
yes.
vegetables.
And what you'll see here, and this is something that I just recently learned, was with the sweet potatoes, unlike the white potatoes, here they're going to grow what are known as slips. So these would be individual plants which you separate and then plant them. And each one of them, and this is the thing that why I really stress to people, this one sweet potato in here may produce 6, 8, I don't know if there's even a limit. A number of slips, and each one of those slips could then grow 10 plus potatoes.
Yeah.
And it's not just with potatoes, it's also with the things that we're going to share with other areas of gardening. Yes.
That's the multiplication of nature.
Yes. So again, just examples of things that we're going to bring to you, as well as, again, we mentioned the recipes, tips on zero waste.
I just want to go back a little bit because I mentioned we're getting older, but also I want to preface to the younger people, those that may be watching that may be younger. You want to start now. You don't want to wait until you get up in age before you start considering your health. You want to take that seriously right now so that you can enjoy the later years.
Yes. And here's again, a couple of reasons why we're sharing information with you. You hear people keep talking about the cost of food. We were at a farmer's market the other day, and a watermelon was being sold for $25. Now we have watermelons in the process of growing now. but our watermelons weren't ready. But we were looking at watermelons, and again, $25. Now, we did learn that the reason why the price is so high, but if you're going to continuously complain about the prices of certain things, ask yourself, what can you do
Right.
to help alleviate or to fight back?
Right.
You know?
And some of the pressures on your purse. I mean, you really don't want to have to budget an exorbitant amount of money for food, especially when inflation is, we see it now, but it's just getting worse.
Yes.
It creeps up and it really never goes back down. It may level set, but it never really goes back down. So you want to sort of position yourself so that you're not compromised when it comes to your health and
Yes.
being able to basically eat.
And that's the other point. One is prices, and two is health. People complaining about, oh, they're messing with the food. You know, what's GMO? You know, whether it's organic or non-organic. You hear people talk all of this. Well, just try growing some of your own. Don't worry about it being a full farm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, you can become creative. I've heard people do things like this. If you don't have a lot of space, but you got family members or a neighbor, you grow one thing, the neighbor grows something.
Create a collaborative.
Yes, and you exchange.
Mm-hmm.
There are all kinds of now technology available to have basically grow indoors in vertical towers. Or you can do what we did. We made our own vertical tower, which we'll use for herbs. Now, very inexpensive, but you can get, again, a very sophisticated piece of technology.
Mm-hmm.
But again, there are two things that people constantly complain about. Well, guess what? You were gifted, you were blessed with. You use whatever word you want to, but it's there.
Right.
Nature has made it there for you.
Mm-hmm.
A little effort, but all the things come together.
They really do. The fun part is, for me, is not just harvesting it, but just creating different recipes with it. You know, just experimenting. And I just want to jump back over here to another one of the jars that we have. Here I have quick pickles. We had some pickling cucumbers that I generally like to eat. Just slice them up and put a little vinegar, salt, and pepper on them. But I decided, because again, I didn't want the cucumbers to go to waste. I love pickles. I like a savory pickle. You know, the more sour, the better. So what I did was I created a quick brine. Now, in this brine, there is salt, vinegar, and I think about a teaspoon of sugar. I did have to use sugar to offset the acidity in the vinegar. You can use coconut sugar, you can use honey, or you can use maple syrup. 10 minutes, bring the brine to a boil, pour it over the sliced pickle or the sliced cucumber, let it cool, put the lid on it, let it cool, sit it in the refrigerator after it cools, and you have pickles. You have pickles. This one I added peppercorns to because I love, like I said, I like spicy, I like savory. Again, leftover or just produce that I didn't want to go to waste. Now I have pickles to eat on my sandwiches or in my salads, or, you know, or just out of the jar because I just like the flavor.
And didn't you ask me the other day, when's the dill going to be ready?
Yes, I did. I asked him when his dill was going to be ready because he has an herb garden, and dill is one of the herbs in the garden that I'm going to make dill pickles with. So there you go. There you go. You want to, or you want me to jump over here and you want me to hand you your sauerkraut?
Well, you know, this is my second attempt. You know, I happen to love sauerkraut. Now, again, this talking about things not going to waste. This was cabbage. I think we had bought two at one time, and then the second was like, okay, we don't want it to go to waste, so let's ferment it. Let's make some sauerkraut. And guess what? If you're not familiar, fermented foods are good for the gut. They're good for your microbiome, good for your digestive system. You know what? Simple. Put it in some water. You know what? There's a technique which you can find, on YouTube, uh, in terms of making your own sauerkraut. Again, a good healthy addition to your diet,
Yep.
and also keeps you from wasting food.
And just so you know, you wash the cabbage in water, let it drain and dry. You don't soak the cabbage in water, do you?
No, okay. The way I do it
Mhm.
is, I think it's about a cup of water with some salt,
Okay.
and you put on the cabbage, and actually put the salt
So you
on.
create a brine.
Yes.
Okay.
Put the salt on, and then you just keep massaging the cabbage, and it kind of gets the water out, and the water then interacts with the salt, and then you basically jar it. You know, uh, in the future we'll do a more, the exact procedure.
Okay. Yeah.
But the
I just
general
didn't
things.
want people to jumpstart, and go soak cabbage in water.
No. Again, the takeaway for the day is begin thinking about ways
To preserve your food.
so that it doesn't go to waste.
I was just going to make note that this particular cabbage, this was half of the cabbage. So we enjoyed that cabbage in multiple ways. Now you can also make coleslaw, but
Yes.
because you enjoy sauerkraut, again, multi-purpose use
Yes.
for your fruits and vegetables.
Speaking of multi-purpose, you might see me over here nibbling on something, all right, which is somewhat an experiment in the works.
Yes.
One of the things, because we juice, we get a lot of pulp. That when you have a juicer, your juicer will extract all the juice and it will leave all the pulp. Well, it was like, okay, what are you going to do with all of this? Now, there are a bunch of things. Now, the one thing that I'm kind of late doing was trying to find a recipe to create, in order to consume the pulp. And this is what this is. This is sort of needs a little work, but you get the message. It's trying to reduce.
I just want to bring it closer. It's almost like the little Kodak bars bites that you get from Costco. So and it has sort of that flavor.
Yes.
Sort of that flavor. But we're going to perfect that recipe and we're going to give it to you.
Yes. Nothing to do with the pulp. I shared this in a Facebook group and people were really shocked. You can also create, what I do is I create what I call veggie smoothies for my outdoor plants. It's kind of my way of returning what was given to me back to nature. So the question was, somebody was asking what cucumbers, and the cucumbers had gone sour and they threw them out. And I just kind of recommended that you may not want to do that. First, you want to cut the cucumber open to see how deep, or the produce, whatever it may be, to see how deep the spoilage is. Then you save what you can, and the part that's bad you cut, you sit it to the side. The other thing I said, and you save the seeds, which is something I just saw a video of Terrence Howard, who's now promoting, the actor, encouraging people save the seeds, something that we've been doing for a while. So the cucumber's going bad. Used to toss it. Don't toss it. Cut away the bad part. See how much is good. Use the good. Take the bad part. Set it to the side. Take the seeds. Set it to the side. Use the bad part. Create your veggie smoothies of, and there's a whole technique to that. And then you could just go out and use it to add back to your soil, to amend your soil, and you can even make it to the point where you can feed it directly to your plants.
Right. We'll call it spoiled or soiled or aged. We won't call it bad because it's good for something.
Yes.
It is good for something.
Because in nature, nothing goes to waste, and we're just trying to adhere to that.
Exactly. All right, Coach. The only other thing I have is, again, I'm coming back to the repurposing, and everybody that has watched us for a minute knows I love harvesting my pineapple crowns. And here is another pineapple crown that has been sitting for about 2 weeks, and it now has roots. So for my sister-in-law Beatrice and my cousin Edwina, 2 weeks, you can plop this in the ground. If your pineapple crowns have roots, you can go ahead now and put it in the soil. So I am officially, I think, done with harvesting pineapple crowns because I think I have about 16 pineapples, and I'm going to have to take them up to my father's house and plant them in his garden because I don't have room for them anymore. All right, so that's it for me.
Yes.
We have the whole
Well,
live
yes.
production going on in the
Yeah.
background that we'll talk about.
Yeah, and again, just want to point out some of the things we're going to bring to you because one of the things that we encourage is regrowing. Mhm. And what you see here are really just a few things that we're regrowing. We talked about the potatoes, all right, which really the potatoes were regrown from scratch, is what I call them. But back here, the same thing. Now, but we had turnips.
Oh, this is amazing.
Yeah,
Just since this
yesterday.
afternoon.
Yeah, since put these in water yesterday. Mhm.
And they're gonna smell a little funky because
Yeah.
it's a turnip, it's a
Mhm.
root, and it's in water. But just for a little while, and then you just take that and transplant it to a pot or in your garden if you
Mhm.
are lucky enough to garden in ground. You can just plant that in ground.
Mhm. And just want to show you this one thing as well.
Got it, Coach?
Yep.
Okay.
Again, this was a piece of celery that was probably about here when I put it in water. Very few leaves.
About 6 inches.
Yep. And all I did was, again, sat it in some water. And you can see this also has roots. So eventually this will be able to be replanted in some soil to grow, guess what? More celery. Mhm. But you can just see, all we did was put it in a little dish of water. Now, there are a whole lot of techniques that you'll learn in terms of, uh, you know, improving the growth of your produce, improving the yield. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things we're still learning. At least I know I am. My point right now is to encourage you just to start. Don't let your space or location limit you. And you really want to start now because this is the growing season for most places. Some people have not really, depending on where you're located, and especially with all the weather conditions, may not have hit your official spring growing season yet. Mhm. But again, point is engage or become intentional about your health, the health of your family, others, the health of nature, and just make it part of your lifestyle.
Absolutely.
Mm.
All right, Coach.
That's
Well,
it for me.
I think that concludes our session for tonight. We are happy to be back before you, and we are excited about what we're growing, and we want you to be excited about it too. So join us next Tuesday for the Power of Now at 8 p.m. I'm Coach Mitchell.
And I'm Coach Darren.
And we want to thank you for allowing us to be a part of your health and wellness journey. And remember, if you don't start now, there can be no next. Have a great evening. Go and grow. Go and grow.